why are you still saying? Why are you still ignoring that voice? Welcome back to the Confident Alchemist podcast, where we have real conversation for bold women who are done playing small and who are ready to start to take that brave leap into entrepreneurship and creating that life that you know that you deserve. So today's episode is for the women who still stuck and say, I will leave once I'm ready. But they know that they are stuck in a job that really drains their soul. It's also for the woman who chooses safety of the corporate and who's too scared to take the leap into entrepreneurship. Deep down inside, you know that you are not aligned. But you feel every Sunday, you feel that draining. So today we're going to look at the real reasons why women still are stuck in corporate jobs, the fears that holds them back to make this brave leap. So let's dive in. So if you are listening to this, there's a good chance that you know deep down inside that you are not currently happy with your current job in the corporate. You are tired and maybe you think about leaving, but it really feels terrifying. So today we're going to look at the common reasons why women are scared to take the brave leap. So let's start with number one. It's definitely the fear of failure. How many of you actually think that if you're going to start a business, you might fail? I know fear of failure is something that definitely most women hold back. But you need to understand that fear of failure is something that is not real. If you have the strategy, if you have the plan, if you know yourself that you are motivated, disciplined, you don't need to fear. Yes, there will always be ups and downs in your business, but you might not fail. And I always say, learn from your failures. You only fail when you give up. Other ones are just lessons. So the second reason why a lot of women actually stay stuck in corporate is the fear of judgment. I had to hear that, Debbie, you are crazy for leaving your job. You haven't given up a paycheck, and how are you going to pay your expenses? So a lot of us really listen to the people outside us for that validation. But deep down inside, you actually know that you are called for something more. But you actually fear the judgment of others. Maybe they're going to think you're crazy. Maybe they're going to say you made a mistake. But like I said, if you truly know yourself and you know you've got an entrepreneur mindset, you've got discipline, and you have the right strategy behind everything, you are not going to fail. So stop listening to people out there. Trust your gut, you can do this. The other reason why people stay stuck is because of guilt. A lot of you say, perhaps, maybe my parents paid for my course. Maybe I, paid so much money towards this degree that I have to do this. A lot of you perhaps moved your whole family around the country to have this current job that you're in. And you feel guilty. I can't just give up this and start my own business now. I've paid too much. I've worked too hard. And you actually let guilt hold you back. But this is what you need to understand. That you are not your emotions. Yes, you paid for it. You gave out cash. Somebody else perhaps paid for you. But this is where opportunity comes in. This is where you need to decide what is more important. To stay stuck in a job that no longer serves you, that you can feel you're not aligned with, or you can actually start moving. Push through that guilt, push through that fear, and make that decision to start your own business. Another reason why people stay stuck, women in corporate, is the loss of identity. And I can definitely contest to this one. When I was in between jobs, so after I resigned, and I wasn't a life coach yet, I really had this major identity crisis. Like I said, I was no longer a rep, but I still wasn't a life coach, because you're only a life coach when people actually pay you. So before I had my first client and that leap in between, I had such an identity crisis. And I never realized that my identity was so entwined with my title, my LinkedIn bio, who I was. So when people ask me, what do you do? And I couldn't give him an answer. So I actually made stupid decisions because of this identity, because I didn't know who I was. And it took me about 3 or 4 months to actually realize, but you know what, Debs? You are not your role. You are not your title. You are just you. But a lot of people, we do fear judgment. Because if you walk up to somebody and they say, well, no, I don't do much, how many people will judge you? And that was another thing that we were scared of, that people's going to judge us for the title that we have or we don't have. So yes, you are going to walk away from a title. But I'm telling you, if you do the mindset work and you understand that you are really not your title, that you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're going to look after yourself, and you don't need a title to have self-worth. Your self-worth comes from within, not from your job title. So let that go and understand, yes, you're going to have a period of identity crisis because you've been conditioned for so many years that you are. If people, when you meet people, what do you do for a living? Yes, I understand that. But now I just say, you know what? I help people. I don't even sometimes tell people I'm a life coach because my title, my self-worth, who I am, is not connected to what I do. Another reason why people still stay stuck is the steady income. Of course, we all love security, we all love safety. And if you are so used to getting a certain amount at the month end, of course you want to stay. Yes, we all have expenses, we all have things that we need to pay for. And especially when you have a family or there's people that's dependent on your salary, it's a very difficult decision to walk away from that security. Yes, month end is sometimes not my favorite time of the month because you have to wonder where the money is going to come in. But I promise you, like everything in life, the longer your business is in play, the better your income comes. In the beginning for me as well, I just couldn't be a life coach. I still had to create a side hustle for myself to get the income, to pay for my bills so I can do my passion of helping people. So if this resonated with you, but you still tell yourself, you know what, my corporate job is not that bad. Are you really being honest with yourself? Are you really going to stay stuck for the next few years in the same job that is not in alignment with you? Because you actually have to understand what is staying costing you at this moment if you are not in alignment with yourself. Well, first of all, it's definitely costing your mental health. Yes, that constant stress, that constant worry about performing and appraisals and, when you can take leave and not take leave. The long hours that you work, that is definitely costing your mental health. Another thing that's costing you is your relationships. Do you actually spend enough time with your kids? Or do you work weekends, work long times? And how stressed are you when you actually do get home? Are you giving your best to your children or to your spouse? And another thing that's costing you is your self-confidence and your self-worth. How long are you going to trade your time for money? How long are you going to trade your expertise for a paycheck? So it's costing your self-worth and it's costing your confidence. The longer you're going to keep on playing small, you're going to keep on playing small in all areas of your life. So you really need to say if this is worth staying. And of course, people, you know that it's costing your health. Your body can't stay under constant stress all the time. So it's costing your health. Are you actually exercising? Are you eating healthy? Or are you just rushing through the day? Are you actually sleeping well? So you really have to look at all these costs while staying in a job that you are not aligned with. So let me be clear. I'm not telling you to just quit tomorrow. But I am telling you that you need to decide what is more important for you in your life. If you know that you have this inner calling, that you are meant for more, that you are supposed to start your business, stop playing by the expectations of others. Stop outsourcing your happiness. Stop outsourcing your time for money. And start making the decision of what it is that will be in alignment with your life. But like I said, nothing will change until you make a decision. Your life only starts making when you decide, this is what I no longer want and this is what I go after. You can't keep on sitting on the fence forever. Sitting on the fence, you are going to repeat the same patterns every day. But also when you make a decision, decide the outcome as well. Decide that this is going to be beneficial for you and your family. Decide that starting your own business is not just going to serve you, it's going to serve the community around you. And decide that your business is going to be successful. It's all up to you. Like I said, it's not just quitting your job on a whim. It's actually having a purpose and a strategy behind why you want to quit and how you're going to do it. And remember, you never have to do it on your own. There's communities, there's courses, there's a lot of support out there for you to actually start this business that you are dreaming of. You don't have to be ready, or you don't have to have it all figured out before you start, but you just have to start. Please, if you are ready and you know that you are meant for more, take the brave leap and join our community. We've created a beautiful community called the Confident Alchemist Community. It's a free community where you're going to get support from other bold, strong women who already took the leap, who are ready to take the leap. So inside that, you are going to get some courses, you are going to get the support. So if you enjoyed this episode, please join us for next week. We're going to have more bold stories, truth, and transformation.